following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
This is Talkin' Cowboys. Streaming live from the Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star in Frisco.
First down. Handoff. Elliott plowing to the goal line. Barry, sacked by Lawrence. Prescott keeps it, and he bangs it in for the touchdown.
Here are Mickey Spagnola, Brian Broaddus, Rob Phillips, and Bill Jones.
Okay, moving on. Let's talk Tampa Bay this week. Cowboys and the Buccaneers as the Cowboys have a chance to clinch the NFC East on Sunday at AT&T Stadium. What a great Christmas that would make for everybody.
Absolutely. That'd be a great Christmas.
I thought you might have started off with a Dearest Mother entry, but I'm glad you didn't do that.
No.
You know, there were some people. There were some people that were writing the Dearest Mother entries, like. We were able to survive the Cowboys, mother. You know, I was like, some people were pretty creative.
Well, he was quick to post right after the game yesterday, but
absolutely.
I'm not going there.
No.
Was Mickey? Did he make it back from Indy?
He did.
Okay, so we can expect his arrival soon.
Yes, absolutely.
I assume he's probably involved in some. Pretty serious banter with the locals on
waiting 6 weeks.
105.3 The Fan.
Waiting 6 weeks to go after.
That's right.
You know, we got some Dak anger. We got to get out there in the airwaves. You know?
Oh yeah, I can only imagine.
Yeah.
So anyway, 23-0 yesterday. First time in 15. The most amazing thing about it, it's the first time in 15 years that the Cowboys have been shut out in the game, is the fact that Tom Brady and Bill Belichick were a part of that one.
Yeah.
Back in 2003.
I remember that was a Sunday night game, wasn't it? Wasn't it a Sunday night game? Pretty cold.
Was that New England?
In New England, yeah.
I think it may have been.
Yeah,
that's right.
And the Cowboys just couldn't move the ball.
12-0.
I was a part of that administration. That was 2003.
And Kent and I did that documentary on that season, sort of, with Parcells.
Yeah.
And, they got shut out twice that year.
Yeah, Tampa Bay got him earlier in the year, didn't they?
That was a team that offensively
was challenged.
And they made the playoffs.
They went 10-6.
Parcells took that garbage that we all got together and went to the playoffs with it.
So think of all the quarterbacks that the Cowboys went through during that era, the Parcells era.
Yeah.
And nobody got shut out.
Yeah.
No.
There was some bad days. But yeah. You know what, that game yesterday, I'll tell you what, I know I know Rob and I were kind of laughing about this. I don't know about you, Bill, but people on Twitter were kind of getting on me like, why don't you ever say anything good about the Cowboys? Why do you always say things about the other team? Why, I'm kind of like, it's kind of like my job to talk about the other team. But, it's when you play against an opponent, that's a good football team. That's not making stuff up right there. I mean, that offensive line, we talked about their ability for protection. We talked about some of their young defensive players. That team. Now, the one thing that I did not realize is how well they could have run the football. That's where I missed the boat in my evaluation. I didn't feel like that, that they were going to be able to dominate up front like they were able to do in this game. There was a lot of times where Leighton Vander Esch and Jalen Smith and those guys were having to deal with blue shirts right on top of them. And that's not usually something that happens to the Cowboys linebackers because the front usually does a pretty good job of keeping them clean and allowing them to run. But, man, I'll tell you what, that was as impressive as – and they got their center Kelly back.
Brian Kelly.
And he made a huge difference in this football game. Him and Quentin Nelson, those guys, you don't have to talk about those cats. Even that right tackle that they have, Braden Smith. They did a great job. Braden Smith, if Braden Smith wants to get a contract extension, he ought to use this as one of his games because he held DeMarcus Lawrence in check. And that's for a rookie guy to do that. It's pretty impressive.
That offensive line for the Colts was outstanding. Run blocking, pass blocking, and to me, the run game was the difference for me. And you brought up Marlon Mack. They don't run it that much. But he came into this game averaging 4.7 yards a carry, so they can run the ball. And Jalen Smith talked about it afterwards. They didn't get the job done in that area, and that's what their defense starts with. That's what Marinelli preaches. And during the 5-game win streak, which is now gone, 66 yards on the ground allowed per game, and they give up 178. That's by far a season high, and Luck wasn't sacked either. He had all day, not all day every play, but he was pretty comfortable back there. And you talked about it during the week. They're patient. They take what you give them. They'll nickel and dime you if they need to. And he hit a couple big shots, but they just kind of did what they wanted, and that's just surprising. We don't expect that from this Dallas defense because they have been by far the most consistent part of this team this year.
You kind of know how the Cowboys' opponents felt in the 2016 season with the domination of an offensive line against your team. Hello, Mickey. How are you?
Good morning. I'm fine. How are you?
I'm doing just fine. How was your trip to Indy outside of the 3 hours that you witnessed?
Yeah, it was good.
Yep,
good. Got home, landed at 7:05. Got off the plane at 7:25.
You have to wait for Brad Sham in front of you?
No, we drove forever. We should have flown a little further, right?
We landed. We had to wait a little bit.
Oh, really? Okay.
Get his bags together,
It was a long taxi.
That'll happen on a Sunday night at DFW Airport.
My friend Keller said, see, this is what happens when the Cowboys lose because the guys up in the control tower, they probably lost a bet, so they made us land on the furthest runway from where we had to
That's the problem when the Cowboys aren't playing a primetime game, too. But when you're playing at noon on Sunday on the road, then you're getting back at 7 o'clock at night. It's so busy in that airport at 7 o'clock at night.
All right,
as
put
opposed to 2 o'clock.
Put that charter flight over
in the
there
morning.
in Duncan.
All right, so were they getting on you on the radio this morning?
Why?
Why are you late getting in here?
Because they had a lot to talk about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are they upset? Are the masses upset?
No, I don't think so. Sometimes you go out and you get your ass beat.
Oh.
And they got beat by a better team.
Yeah.
They have better offensive line,
On that
better
day, they were the better
defensive
team.
line. Yes.
Yeah.
Their offensive line dominated. And I think everybody forgets, who did the Cowboys have on their offensive line for 3 quarters? This next man up sounds very great, but when it's next man up, you're getting yourself in trouble.
Yeah.
And I thought it showed up in this game for 3 quarters.
That's what I thought it all boiled down to. In retrospect, after the game, I got on the elliptical, thought it through, and it was all about the offensive lines in this game. And you mentioned they got Ryan Kelly back for Indianapolis. Yep. Quentin Nelson's going to be a perennial All-Pro.
Sure will.
It will be this year, in fact, as a rookie even. And then you take a perennial All-Pro off the Cowboys' offensive line. You got 2 of them already. I mean, Travis Frederick, obviously, we've been dealing with that all season. Then you lose the guy who's been filling in at left guard, and it's a sort of a shambles over there. But that doesn't mean that they couldn't have competed all the way down to the wire in that game, even with the domination of the Colts offensive line. If they make certain plays, don't have a blocked field goal to start the game, and give them a short field, they still could have had a chance of winning the game. But the Colts, to their credit, took command of the game.
No, I thought they did a great job. Colts, I thought, a great game plan defensively. Flu's called a great game for them. If you look at what he was able to do, kind of create some opportunities. They put their young linebacker, Darius Leonard, in some coverage situations. He was able to knock a couple of passes down. They were able to get a couple of timely sacks, taking advantage of some guys setting at different levels there. They sacked you on a 2-man route, by the way. The first sack of the game was a 2-man route, and Dalton Schultz is trying to block his guy, and Zeke kind of runs into his back, and then it throws Dalton Schultz off, and Dak really kind of has to maneuver around that and all. But yeah, it was tough. I mean, that's They missed some throws. They had a couple guys open, and that's what's going to happen. I've learned this, though: when this defense doesn't play very well, they're going to lose. Well, that's what I've learned about this football team.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
this defense carries this football team. It's not the offense.
Well,
because the offense can still make the same mistakes that they do.
They were down 10-0 at halftime.
Yeah,
and I went back and I just, because to your point, I thought the same thing. Cowboys offensively, even during this 6-game winning streak.
Had 39 plays in the first 3 series, right?
Oh, yeah. Dominate. NFL research said it's the longest a team has held the ball in a first half without scoring since Green Bay in the season opener last year.
Had it for over 19 minutes.
Almost 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And won the yardage battle, you guys spoke about the blocked field goal. They had yet another goal-to-go situation where they can't score. No points at all because they get stopped on fourth down. I think Zeke technically fumbled.
They said it was a fumble,
Yeah, but he got hit at the 5-yard line when it
didn't
fourth
matter.
and 1 at the 3.
Didn't matter. They didn't get the fourth down. And then they're driving. They're inside the 40 before the half, and Dak takes a 10-yard loss on a sack.
Yeah.
And it knocks him out of field goal range. And so I think they had 3 drives in a row to start the game, 10-plus plays, 15, 14 plays.
Yeah.
You get nothing out of it. And that has happened to this team this year, even during the win streak. I looked it up during the 5-game winning streak. They averaged 12 first-half points, even in those games. And they need a little time to get going. And they didn't have that time this game because the Colts offensively, we talked about what they did. They got a big lead and they kept it.
I just never felt like they were going to stop the Colts.
Right.
Watching
they
that
scored
game.
on 6 meaningful possessions leading up to the 5-minute mark of the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
They scored on 5 of the 6 possessions.
I think I looked this up. If my math's right, when their first half, they averaged of their drives, they averaged 4.5 first downs a series. Think about that.
Yep.
I mean, they were just kind of moving along. They're blocking you. They're blocking your front. You're trying to do some things. You're not tackling worth a damn.
Missed some tackles early.
Missed some tackles in that game. I mean, you got some guys that normally tackle pretty well that missed some tackles.
And having said all that, they only drove for 1 touchdown. The Colts.
It's one that started the second half.
And I sat in my seat when the second half started, and I said, this possession's going to decide the game.
Yeah.
Because if they don't stop them and it's 17-0, this team's not capable of coming back from 17-0 the way they want to play offense. The first touchdown, thanks to the blocked field goal, right?
Yeah.
And with 3 seconds to go in the half, it's still 7-0.
Right.
So all this notion that they didn't come out and play, they were flat.
Yeah.
Well, somebody was playing,
right?
Because they shut them down until they gave up the field goal, and it's still only 10-0.
Right.
So, they
Wait.
Am I not right?
They shut them down. I'm not following you.
What was the score?
They didn't score touchdowns. But let's take for instance.
No, I'm not saying the Cowboys offense, the Colts offense.
Okay.
They scored the touchdown off the block kick. They only had to go 44 yards.
But the Colts get the ball back with 1:53 to play in the first half, and they drive it from their own 16-yard line to the Cowboy 25-yard line to kick a field goal to make it 10-0 at the half.
Okay, it's only 10-0.
It's only 10-0 but it's still they didn't score a touchdown on that drive, but they drove
They had 179 yards in the first half.
I got you.
I mean,
but
you
it's
look
still
at
10-0.
Every possession of the game, I wrote it down, all their possessions. Where is it? They went 44 yards and 8 plays for a touchdown.
Yeah.
Then they went second quarter, 63 yards and 11 plays and punted. That was the only time they did not score against the Cowboys.
Was that the penalty-ridden? What drive was it when they got all the penalties?
I think it was that one.
Yeah.
All right. And then
it was ended up being 3rd and 30, I think, is what happened there.
Yep.
But they hit
exactly.
They hit some huge plays on you in that one.
That's right. And okay, so then they get the ball with 2 minutes left in the half. That was only their third possession. They only had the ball 3 times in the first half because the Cowboys offense was holding the ball for so long. And they went 59 yards in 12 plays to kick a field goal. Then they start the third quarter. They go 75 yards in 8 plays for a touchdown to make it 17-0. Then they get the ball back later in the third quarter. They go 63 yards in 10 plays for a field goal. And then 56 yards in 12 plays in the fourth quarter, and it's 23-0. I mean,
but they were
they were kicking field goals. But they're holding They held the football in the second half more than the Cowboys held the football in the first half. They had the ball for 21 minutes and 6 seconds in the second half of that game.
Yeah.
But my point is, in the first half, when everybody says they didn't show up,
nobody said they didn't show up.
Oh, that's what's the.
That's not what we're saying.
I didn't say you said it.
We're giving Colts credit for what they did.
I'm saying that folks out there are saying, well, yeah, they didn't show up. They got fat and happy. Well, they were playing. They just weren't playing well enough.
The Colts have won 7 of the last 8 games.
Yeah,
for a reason.
Exactly. Yeah. And if you drop a touchdown pass, okay, if you get a field goal blocked and give them a short field to start
it's like
the game,
a turnover,
right?
Yeah.
And you're gonna and you fall behind against a team with that quality offensive line, they're going to do to you what you like to do to other teams.
Yeah.
And, we talked about it last week. Brian brought it up. We agreed. Are you a little worried about the kicker? That kick was low.
Yeah.
The guy blocked it with his armpit. I'm sorry, and he didn't jump.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, he got a little penetration, but still.
And you went back and looked at it.
Yeah, it was between. I thought it was off the right side. It was actually between Suafilo and then Ladisor. So it was on the left side, actually.
Yeah.
Autry came from
Their right side.
Yeah, it was on the Colts' right side, your left side. I thought maybe it started from that other side, from the Cowboys' right, but it wasn't. It was from the left side. That's because TV did showed a poor. We really didn't see it. We really didn't know what was going on. We know the ball was on the ground and all that. And they were showing like the crowd and stuff like that. It was kind of a crazy sequence there. But yeah, it was Suafilo and between him and Ladisor there on that left side.
And he never got a chance to redeem himself. Obviously, they were at the 26 late in the game. I thought they might kick the field goal, 4th and 12, but that's not the way Jason Garrett thinks. You think you go for it, you try to get a touchdown with 3 minutes and change left and kick an onside and keep this thing, extend the game. But,
Well, at that point, you're thinking, I mean, it's crazy, but you're down 23-0.
Yeah.
I mean, you're thinking it's a 3-score game. You got to
Sure,
touchdown and 2-point conversion
Right,
three
right,
times.
right.
And so
He went for it.
And I don't know,
He did go for it on 4th down 5 times.
he did.
he did.
One for 5.
1 for 5, but
Yep.
they went for it on 4th down.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So do you like the decision to go for it on 4th and 1 after Olawale dropped the pass?
I'm banking on it that the interesting thing that happened on that play was they got 13 personnel and they tried to run it away from the strength. And what happened on the play was that Margus Hunt was playing on the left side of Looney's shoulder on the left side. So what happened was when Looney went for the hard reach to his left, they were running everything trying to get it to go to the left. Margus Hunt went behind him, and then Connor Williams got caught. Like you see Collins trying to push him to get him over to get in the A gap to take Margus Hunt, but he's locked up on Autry, and so what happens is when Hunt swims him and then he's able to redirect, Elliott had nowhere to go. I mean, it was just it was a great move. It was a great move by Hunt, not only to show I'm in the right gap, now I'm in the left gap, and then redirect, but they just couldn't get him cut off. And, again, you have a rookie playing right guard, and you got a tackle trying to push him to get him into the gap, and it doesn't work. You get stopped.
They needed to go for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
There was no way. You got the NFL's leading rusher.
Sure.
You got a fourth and 1. You got to go for it there.
What about
You
third
need
down?
a touchdown.
What about third down?
I thought the 3rd down call was actually pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
He got what he wanted out of the play because he's run Rico Gathers across. He's going to have Jarwin on the backside coming, and they're going to run a pick. If he wanted that, they could have done that. I was trying to think, did Dak need to float the ball because of the defenders? But Walker was far enough to the inside where if he could kind of put it on the line. What happened, Olawale's feet were bad.
He almost tripped on the goal line.
Yeah, his feet were really bad. And it might have worked if you throw it on him, that he catches it cradle-wise and just falls in.
But he couldn't because there were 2 defenders there, and he had to look it over.
I looked at that, Mickey, and from the end zone copy, the defenders, Walker being one of them, they were inside enough where I thought initially, I said, okay, he's got to float that ball, but it wasn't. When you watch the end zone copy of it, there's a good line of sight that he could have fit that thing because he had separation. He had separation on the safety, Odom. Odom was trying to run over and cover, and there was separation there. And then Walker was trying to get over to make the play, but he just couldn't get in the line of sight. I thought he could have just.
The other thing about Olawale, he's been a decent receiver.
He can catch. The guy can catch.
Yeah.
He can catch.
But he couldn't make his 3rd reception of the season.
Yeah.
It's a unique play call because, again, you're taking advantage of a guy that doesn't get the football all that much.
Right, and no one's expecting him to get it.
Yeah, but then we wonder why, why do they have goal-to-goal problems? Well, they have a Cole Beasley drop. They have an Olawale stumble.
I wonder how he did in practice this week on practicing that.
I bet you they caught that one.
I bet he caught it every time.
I wonder if it came up the pass because I thought when Dak initially did it that he wanted to run, and they stopped that.
Right.
They got to the outside, and it was like, okay, now I got to throw it.
It also looked like he might have lost it in the lights.
No,
Let me ask you this.
he looked away before he caught the ball.
Can I ask you a question, Mickey and Rob? Because you guys were in the stadium. Were they going away from that side of the stadium that has sunlight to it? Were they going into there's an area that's open?
They were going away from it.
They were going away, so he was looking back into like the natural light.
Yeah, but
Well, that was
on the sideline.
big window side, right?
Yeah.
no, he was
Fieldhouse.
going.
Was he going towards the big
no,
window
he was
side?
going to our left. The
They
window
looked like
was to the
on
right.
the Jarwin play, he was looking into the sun.
Yeah. See, that's
Jarwin?
I was just wondering if he lost. Sometimes in that gray, when you're in that stadium,
Yep.
you can look. There's those. It's like our stadium. It's got that big glass, and I was thinking, I wonder if he was looking back into and lost the ball in that area again.
Go back and look. He turned his head.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying. I'm not trying to make excuses. I'm just saying there is a part of that stadium that's like AT&T where it's glass.
I understand.
And you could see, and if you look back into it, it might, make your vision a little.
Yeah.
I don't know. He should have thrown the ball on the line.
Okay, so what about the Jarwin drop? Because Charles Davis on
Boy, I thought Jarwin's going to pull that one down, but to me it was.
Why
That's
have I
tough.
forgotten that one.
That's the one that was on fourth down that they
it's on third down.
Third down. I'm sorry, the third down. He threw it up.
And then defender hit him after.
Yeah, the ball was in his hands. He couldn't bring it down.
Yeah.
Couldn't bring it down.
The guy made a hell of a play on that.
He did, but Charles Davis was the reason I bring it up. Charles Davis, the TV analyst, was getting on Dak a little bit for not
floating it.
Yeah, for not putting it out in front of him a little more. It was a drop.
Yeah.
Okay. And
he had both hands on the ball.
Credit
Yeah.
the defensive player for making the play too, but it wasn't a bad pass.
No, I thought the ball hit Jarwin's hands.
Right.
And then as he's trying to pull it down, like Desir, I think it was, made the play. Yeah.
Last second came in there and popped it out.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And then you go for it on fourth down and you make the nice conversion and you get a holding call.
Yeah. Well,
On the Beasley catch for 18
Right,
yards.
Beasley, yeah.
I mean, nothing went right. I mean, Dak said it half a dozen times. We never gave ourselves a chance,
and
he's right. I mean, they beat themselves in that first half, and really it was too late by then.
I think the whole analysis. I appreciate Mickey saying this. They got their ass kicked. Mm-hmm. And I said it on our internet show. I didn't say it on our TV show because
Nick said it on our internet.
Yeah, you
show.
can't just kind of fire off a hey, they got their ass kicked.
Can't say that
on the TV show, but on the
Switzer did.
Yeah, well,
Switzer says that a lot.
Yeah, Switzer's a lot more famous than me. But I mean, I agree with Mickey. I think this was one of those games where they got their ass kicked. They really did. I mean, both sides. You think about really what they did. The Colts took it to them. The Colts looked like the team that was trying to win the division.
Well, they were.
Dallas looked like a team. Dallas looked like a team that was trying to get to the, had one foot in the parking lot. They didn't play with near the intensity. Now they quit. No, they didn't. But the Colts just physically beat them up. I think that's right there. We could do the whole show and talk about them just getting their ass kicked.
And when you compare the offensive lines, we've talked about what the Colts offensive line did, but Cowboys gave up 3 sacks, but there are also 4 holding calls on the offensive line, a 5th if you include Ladisar's on a punt. But I mean,
and
But
we had Cowboy fans on Twitter tell them, and I love you guys, but saying, "Oh, they're holding every time their offensive line." There's a reason why Luck's only been sacked 15 times this year. They put on a clinic yesterday.
Yeah.
They did, and in the running game, getting to the second level, up on the linebackers. I mean, that was you teach that what they did yesterday. You got to give them credit.
I do.
They did a great job.
They did. They won the game.
Kent Garrison is here to take your phone calls, and we will hear from you when Talking Cowboys continues in a moment.
Essilor has been helping Cowboys fans see better since 1972 so they don't miss a moment on the field. Get glasses with Essilor's best vision, clarity, and protection with the Essilor Ultimate Lens Package. 3 innovative technologies in one lens. For a limited time, you can double your lenses for free when you purchase the Essilor Ultimate Lens Package and get a second pair of frames. Find a participating eye care professional and details by visiting EssilorUSA.com. That's EssilorUSA.com. Terms and conditions apply.
You want the most interesting, up-to-the-minute Dallas Cowboys news straight from the Star in Frisco? How about exclusive and on command? That's right, news and nuggets you can't find anywhere else. With our exclusive Cowboys content on Alexa, you can have all the answers, secrets, stories, and more. What's Stephen Jones thinking during a game? What's Joe Looney's favorite pregame meal? We take your questions to Cowboys players and coaches, and you can hear the answers directly back to you. Just say, Alexa, open Dallas Cowboys.
If you're like me and you love... if you have a thing, then cutting the cord is scary. But then I found out I could switch to DirecTV Now and still get the live sports I love. No satellite needed, no bulky hardware, no annual contract, just...
Get the live sports you love. Try DirecTV Now for $10 a month for 3 months. Visit DirecTVNow.com. DirecTV Now. More for your thing. That's our thing. Use code REALDEAL. Limited time. Price for little package. After 3 months, renews monthly at full price. Currently minimum $40 unless canceled. Prices may change. New subscribers only. Cancel anytime. Content varies by package and may be limited. Restrictions apply.
A man's Stetson doesn't just protect him from life's elements. It projects an unstoppable and legendary spirit, just like the men wearing silver and navy on the field every Sunday. Since 1865, Stetson hats are American-made with pride right here in Texas. They are still the official crown of all self-respecting Cowboys. And Stetson is proud to be on the field with America's team. Find Stetson hats in the Pro Shop or at Stetson.com today.
Dr. Pepper is the one you crave. But how do you explain that craving?
Imagine being shipwrecked on a desert island, alone. Glass-like curls of surf pound the shore with Dr. Pepper-colored waves. Surrounded by desire, but you can't drink it because it's the ocean. Fish live in there. The only thing you want is Dr. Pepper, and you can't have it.
Now that is a Dr. Pepper craving. Dr. Pepper, the one you crave.
Back to Talkin' Cowboys.
Tommy John time. Adjust your cleats, adjust your pads, even adjust your helmet. But seriously, do not adjust your underwear because once it's been seen, it cannot be unseen. Tommy John has a contour pouch and moisture-wicking fabric to keep you cool and dry.
What kind of fabric is that?
On the field or in the stands. Moisture-wicking fabric.
Moisture-wicking.
Yeah. Tommy John, no adjustment needed, Brian. Shop exclusive Cowboys underwear at TommyJohn.com/Cowboys for 20% off your first order.
Holidays coming up, folks. Men and women's.
Did we wear our Cowboys Tommy Johns yesterday?
Negatory, Bill.
Tommy John's.
What? You did?
Tommy John's. Not the cowboy one, though.
No. You didn't wear
the stripe on there? Cowboys down the side?
Might have been the problem.
Yeah.
No.
Did you pack it to take it on
Last
your trip?
time I wore those, they lost.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you can't wear them.
Mickey's like me. I look at him, I'm like, no, that ain't happening today.
I love them.
That's
I love them.
Had a 5-game winning streak with the ones I wore.
Is that right?
Yep.
You did wash them, didn't you?
That was the next question.
Week to
Good
week.
follow-up, Bill.
Let me think. Only wore them once a week. It wasn't a
You just hang them up and they'll be fine the next week.
And it wasn't a uniform violation
Air
either,
dry.
by the way.
That's right.
Dearest Mom. We're at the campsite.
All right, how about we go to the phone calls to kick off this segment. We've got Phil in Louisiana first up on Talking Cowboys. Hello, Phil.
Hey, Bill, it's an honor to be the number one here. Hey, Brian, I promise not to try to pick any low-hanging fruit.
Thank you.
But my point is this morning, it's not about bashing any particular individual, but eventually I'd like to ask a question about Dak. But anyway, you study players in scouting, and maybe you get into their philosophies or their psyche or whatever. But something happened maybe before the game, maybe during the game, but something happened where a collective mindset seemed to permeate the offense and the defense, and they both decided, that they were all going to, most of them were going to play flat, except for Zeke, who gave it as usual. And I was wondering what your thoughts were, or you guys' thoughts were on that. How does a collective mindset manifest itself? Not just in the pro teams, but high school, college, whatever. When a team that's supposed to beat. I'm not saying they were supposed to beat the Colts. They should have or could have, but something happened to reduce their focus or their desire or something. And the only thing I wanted to say about the offense was that, knowing that I think maybe possibly knowing that Zach Martin was out, and then when Su'a-Filo goes down, it was like we were going back to the future before Su'a-Filo came on board and strengthened the push on the offensive line. And Dak, as great as he was last week, I don't think he's at the point of being able to elevate the play of average players or players that just come in. And he's going to get. I questioned the tutelage because I saw the look on his face when who's the guy? Kellen Moore walks up to him and during the game, and it was like I saw this look on his face like I've never seen before. Like he was just like deer in the headlights almost. And I'm just wondering. I question if Kellen Moore is continuing with the tutelage. He's going to eventually the label he's got of making bad decisions or holding the ball too long. He's just going to stick, and it's going to be with him for a long time. I just wanted you guys' thoughts on that.
Where do we need to start?
Maybe about the collective mindset.
Yeah. Mickey told us that he didn't feel like that they started the game correctly. I mean, they started, the intensity, so they just didn't finish.
Right. They're not finishing drives.
And I agree with him on that. I do.
They are now ranked 31st in red zone efficiency and 32nd in goal-to-go situations.
There you
go. Both under 50%.
That's all you need to know right there. 38, 39 plays, and they don't get any points. That's all you need to know. It has nothing to do with desire or want or anything like that. I go back. To me, this is pretty simple. This was the Cowboys gave effort.
Yeah.
They just played a better team yesterday. And I know that sounds really simplistic for the gentleman in Louisiana, but it's the truth. If you go player for player, you would say, okay, we'll take this guy. You could have this guy. There's a lot of even things. Offensive lines, I don't think were even. I don't think that was even.
No.
Quarterback, they clearly won that battle. You won the running back battle. You'd probably say that Van Der Esch and Darius Leonard were a wash.
Well,
but
you take the running back battle, but their running back played great too
because their offensive line was better.
Yeah,
right.
Now you went into this game probably thinking, you know what, the Cowboys are going to stop the run because they've been stopping the run all year, and they're going to make Andrew Luck have to throw the football.
That's the difference for me. And
they didn't do that.
That's what they do every
Shame
week,
on me that I had to look at the flip card to find out what Mac's first name was. I thought it was the guy that was playing in Cleveland.
Back in the day, the Marty Schottenheimer fumbles.
Kevin Mack?
It's way over my head.
Mack.
Marlon Mack. He's out of South Florida.
Mack.
Right.
He was averaging.
He was a good player coming out of college.
He was averaging 48 yards a game.
But he was averaging 4.7
I don't care.
Carry.
It was
no,
48
I care
a
because
game.
I care because he can run the ball. They don't run it that much.
Well, why not? Because they ran it yesterday.
They did. They took advantage of Dallas, and Dallas is supposed to be a pretty good defensive front. Yesterday they didn't play like it. But I don't think that the collective mind. I'm not Dr. Phil. That's hard to you got to ask these players what they're. And I hate that question. Well, how are you feeling out there today?
I mean, when did they decide? When did they decide not to play? The first series of the second half?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, we're done.
Yeah. Nobody did that.
And
they got outplayed.
They don't quit for Garrett. I know that. They don't quit on Garrett. I haven't seen. But I don't. I just feel like that the Colts in that game yesterday were the more physical team, the team that executed better. And they got the victory because of it.
It's pretty simple. If you
thought
watch
so
the
too.
game.
I thought so too. When you get your ass handed to you like that, it's pretty simple. There's not a lot of, what? We should have, could have. No. You physically couldn't stop the run. You couldn't get any pressure. You couldn't block their front. You couldn't protect their quarterback. Your running back, every time he handed them the ball, he came limping off the field. That showed you a little bit about that too.
Gave up a blocked field goal on special teams.
Gave up a block. Yeah, they did everything they had to do to win the game. That's not a collective thought. That's effort. That's desire. Those are those things. And yesterday they were better.
And when you have a drop touchdown pass, when you have holding calls that negate first down making plays,
what week is this? What week is this in the NFL season?
14.
14? Yeah.
16.
Or that
how many?
That was
15th week.
50. Okay,
was
week
15.
15. I'm just saying, okay, week 15. I was trying to get you guys to say week 15. Mm-hmm. But haven't we kind of talked about the same things? about this offense for 15 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the last 5 weeks, it's been a little bit different because they still turned the ball over and winning games.
Yeah.
They still were able to they made some plays. Yesterday, their big-time receiver didn't have a great game. Nice reverse, though, by the way. If they'd gotten one more block, he might have scored.
4 catches, 32 yards for Amari.
Okay. That's a bummer. That's a bummer. That's a committee day, pre-Amari Cooper. But, you look at, but we've been talking about this offense and a lot of their deficiencies the entire season. And now Rob's been pointing out to us every week, they're 27th in red zone. They're 28th this week. By God, guys, they're dropped down to 32. That's kind of where this is at with this offense.
And it's frustrating for them because they know they can move the ball. Like we mentioned,
but they have holding penalties.
They do. It's sacks.
They have sacks.
Sure.
They drop the ball on the 5-yard line. They miss throws that I don't know what kind of throw that was to Allen Hurns, but throw it to the pylon.
Right.
Well, but
he
know
said
what?
He needed to put more.
He
on
did
that.
throw it to the pylon. Hearns was looking inside. The deep pass to the end zone.
Yeah, but the ball went behind him.
Yeah, he said he needed to.
That's what I'm saying. Allen Hurns doesn't always win. Allen Hurns doesn't win.
But Hearns was looking inside.
We
talking about the same one?
Are you talking? You might be talking about the one to Noah Brown.
No, it was the one to Hearns
on the right, on the left side,
and it was incomplete to his left.
Yeah.
He was looking here, and I'm thinking, well, this was a fade, back shoulder fade here. And there was room.
But there was no, you'll see it, Mickey.
I did see it. I replayed it 3 times.
Okay. I don't want to argue with you about that.
Well, I'm just saying.
The ball needed to be out front. He was open.
What do you mean out front?
Out front towards
the
where
goal line?
He could have run under the ball. Where he read, the problem that Dak had, did you see the safety in the middle of the field?
Yes.
Where was the safety?
He wasn't anywhere that was going to cause a problem.
That's what I'm saying. The safety had turned inside. They showed cover 2 and rotated to 3, like the same, and he rotated inside. So if he throws the ball at the pylon instead of behind, the defender never looked for the ball. Wilson never turned his head for the ball. And if he throws the ball down the field, he runs under it and is in the end zone. But instead, he throws it back. Why he would throw it back shoulder in that situation, I have no idea. There was no reason to throw. You throw it back shoulder.
Y'all are saying the same thing. You're saying he threw back shoulder.
That's what I'm saying.
But you don't throw it back shoulder if you throw it back shoulder if the safety's driving out of the middle. The safety was nowhere to be found. You throw the ball in the hole.
You don't have to go back shoulder in that situation.
No, you don't.
Well, if you're a receiver, you ought to look for where the ball is.
Okay.
Dak said he needed to throw it different.
Well, of course he did.
Well, I mean,
he's not going to say Hearns screwed up.
He should.
Well,
if that's
quarterback
the case.
will never do that. You
if
know
that's
that.
the case.
You know that.
But about the team playing flat, when you don't make plays, when you don't execute, then it looks like they're flat.
Yeah.
You know? It's like in baseball.
Yeah.
When a team goes up against a good pitcher in baseball
They
and
don't
it looks
hit it.
like
Yeah.
and they don't and the pitcher's in control of the game.
right.
That's what that game was like yesterday.
Yeah.
And it looks like your hitters are flat. Well, no, they're just being dominated.
And then the hitters will say we had a bad approach.
But you left a lot of guys on base stranded in the first half. That's really what
That's
happened.
right. Yeah.
That's
But
right.
that's what this team does.
And then you gave up a couple home runs in the second half,
Yeah.
in the later innings, and they couldn't overcome it, I mean, that's Cole Beasley said, no, our offense should never go scoreless. We should never be shut out with what we have. And he's right, because they do have talent. I know the offensive line was compromised and has been compromised, but that 03 team, your leading receiver that year was your fullback, Richie Anderson. They've got weapons on this team, and they're frustrated by it because they're not finishing drives. And you can't ask your defense to be dominant every single week.
They just played a better team yesterday.
It's the first time in 6 weeks they couldn't overcome their own mistakes.
That is exactly
That's right. That's exactly right.
Before they were making mistakes, they were overcoming.
When the defense plays poorly, they are going to
you
lose
go.
games. That's the MO of this team. That when the defense plays poorly, they're going to lose games. That's just the way it is.
And credit Matt Eberflus for what he's doing with that Colts defense.
Absolutely.
Right now.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Yep. Sure is. They've got some good players over there. I mean, they don't have household names. Indianapolis is not a team that you're sit there, I'm going to stop down and watch the Colts. but you should. Andrew Luck, he's healthy. He's healthy. They keep him upright. He's got a coach that calls a good game for him. They don't make stupid mistakes.
Anybody want to play that team in the wild card round or in the second
round? They might
round?
not get in.
If they don't, if they get in.
Baltimore's holding the last seed there.
Yeah.
They might not get in.
That's pretty amazing. We won 7 of 8, and
they might win out and not get in.
Right.
When we come back here on Talking Cowboys,
it's 3 teams at 8-6 in the AFC.
Yeah.
6, 7, and 8.
And things are bunched up in the wild card race in the NFC now, thanks to those San Francisco 49ers yesterday. And we examine what might be down the road for the Cowboys if they can take care of business when we come back on Talking Cowboys.
If you're like me and you love... if you have a thing, then cutting the cord is scary. But then I found out I could switch to DirecTV Now and still get the live sports I love. No satellite needed, no bulky hardware, no annual contract, just...
Get the live sports you love. Try DirecTV Now for $10 a month for 3 months. Visit DirecTVNow.com. DirecTV Now. More for your thing. That's our thing. Use code REALDEAL. Limited time. Price for a little package. After 3 months, renews monthly at full price. Currently minimum $40 unless canceled. Prices may change. New subscribers only. Cancel anytime. Content varies by package and may be limited. Restrictions apply.
It's time for tailgating with the OtterBox boys.
The OtterBox that builds those crazy protective phone cases?
Yup. And now they're changing the side dish game with the OtterBox Trooper Soft Cooler. Lightweight, mobile, and leak-proof, Trooper is perfect for blitzing a crowded parking lot with a Frito pie.
Amazing. Hey, you think I could fit my 7-layer salmon salad into the Trooper cooler?
Yup, but please don't.
And that's been Tailgating with the OtterBox boys. Learn more about the Trooper soft coolers at otterbox.com.
While a player can look good on paper, it's when he's out on the field that you really find out what he's made of. That's why the Cowboys rely on more than just stats and scouting reports when building their team. When picking a tractor, it's why you should rely on more than just specs and features. You've got to take it out and put it to the test. The Cowboys did when they named John Deere their official tractor. Experience one for yourself. Visit myjohndeeredealer.com/football.
It can be hard to find the right resource for learning about important financial matters. You search how to build savings, you end up reading about the one weird ingredient from supermarkets that can make you taller. That's why Bank of America built BetterMoneyHabits.com, a safe little corner of the internet for answering your financial questions. Full of simple videos and tips, Better Money Habits can show you how to make the most of your money without resorting to random searches that always seem to lead to unbelievable photos of childhood stars grown up. To learn more, visit BetterMoneyHabits.com.
Essilor has been helping Cowboys fans see better since 1972 so they don't miss a moment on the field. Get glasses with Essilor's best vision, clarity, and protection with the Essilor Ultimate Lens Package. 3 innovative technologies in one lens. For a limited time, you can double your lenses for free when you purchase the Essilor Ultimate Lens Package and get a second pair of frames. Find a participating eye care professional and details by visiting EssilorUSA.com. That's EssilorUSA.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Back to Talkin' Cowboys.
Looking for a Christmas gift? You need to get Jack Black. And go to getjackblack.com/cowboys and you can get the Playmaker for $10 with free shipping. And you need to try every one of those 4 Playmakers in there and you'll be a fan of Jack Black. Go getjackblack.com.
I certainly hope my daughter Jordan is listening because that's what I want for Christmas.
Beard lube.
Yes, exactly right.
Yeah.
Desperate need of beard. I need them all right now.
Turbo wash.
I do. I ran out of turbo wash over the weekend.
Face cleanser.
Somebody from Jack Black's listening. Help Bill Jones out, please.
Well, help Jordan out.
Christmas care package.
Bill needs some
Christmas.
Bill needs some
present. That's exactly right. All right, let's go to a phone call first, and then we'll get into something else. Peyton in Boston, you're next up here on Talking Cowboys. Hello, Peyton. And wow, in Boston, they've lost 2 December games in a row for the first time in 16 years, the Patriots have.
Yeah, I know. So this is actually Payne from Minneapolis. I actually just moved out here.
Okay.
So, but yeah, you think it's like the end of the world out here with what's happening to them. But thanks, Bob. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't know why I was thinking of Bob just when he said it.
I thought he was going to say Bob for some reason. I'm like, yeah, all right, this guy gets it.
I'm Billy Bob.
Yeah.
That was great. But yeah, I just wanted to say real quick, for the 5-game winning streak, I mean, this might sound crazy, but Like, I just felt like it wasn't sustainable. Well, now you can say, well, they won 5 in a row, but I mean, if you guys just look at it, maybe I'm crazy, but I just felt like it was the same thing over and over, where it was the offense is awful for the first quarter, awful the second quarter, awful the third quarter. Defense is lights out first quarter, lights out second quarter, lights out third quarter. So then when we go into the fourth quarter, the offense is either winning the game or down by one possession or a field goal, and it's either they flip a switch, turn it on, and they can win the game, or the defense they keep holding their own. The offense is sustaining drives, getting field goals, and holding time possession. But when that doesn't work out, like we've seen this last game with the defense, where they can't keep it within one possession, the offense can't do anything, then this team just stands no chance. And I think that finally that winning formula, quote unquote, that we saw this past 5 weeks, it couldn't keep up. And so that's just one point I want to make. And then my second point too: has this team beat a team that has like a standout linebacker? I mean, maybe you can say the Jaguars, but I mean, they just lost to Josh Johnson and the Redskins, so I don't think they qualify anymore.
Yeah, the Colts lost that team too to Jacksonville.
Right, yeah, I'm saying the Cowboys.
Just saying, yeah, Jacksonville.
Right. I mean, yeah, it's just a weird
day.
Weird lady, like you say, Rod.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I mean, like the Falcons didn't have Deion Jones. Cowboys won that game.
Yeah.
It's just I feel like whenever they play against a standout linebacker, like the Saints, they don't have a linebacker that scares you.
Right.
The Eagles don't have one. The Lions don't have one. Panthers have Luke Kuechly. They beat you.
Right.
Wesley Woodyard of the Titans beat you.
Right.
The guy from Vanderbilt that you brought us in the draft on the Texans, they beat you.
Yeah.
I just feel like they just really struggle. I mean, I'm sure it just has to do with Joe Looney and no Travis Frederick. So thanks for taking my call, guys.
That's a good call right there.
Yeah, on his
Finally
first
got to the end there, he hit the nail on the head.
No, he was good. He's good. He was kind of going along. I liked it.
On his first point, I talked about this earlier, and he's right. I mean, it takes the offense a while to get going in this win streak. Philly, 14-point fourth quarter. Atlanta, 16-point fourth quarter. Last Philly game, 14 in the fourth quarter. They weren't, the game was lost by then, They didn't have a chance to make that late run like they've been doing. And again, I speak to it, 12 points a game in the first half, the last 6 games. They're just, the offense has got to get off to faster starts.
I think Mickey's right, though. That second half, when they got the ball and scored, that right there was the way that they were playing defensively and the way they were moving the ball offensively the last 2 drives before half and then that touchdown drive. That's really all they needed.
8 plays, 75 yards, touchdown.
When they scored, I mean, I looked at Nate and I said, "You've got to get a stop here. You've got to get a stop, get the ball back, and boom, down the field we go." And then you're like, "Okay, 17-0 seemed like 100-0 to me." The way that game was going.
Yeah,
no doubt. And once again, you see a case where a team kicks a field goal or scores at the end of the first half, gets the ball to start the second half.
10-point swing.
10-point swing right there. And it's all of a sudden they can dictate and hold the ball for 21 minutes in the second half of the game. All right, Barry Church was let go by Jacksonville on Friday. He clears waivers.
Today at 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock today.
Right, which he likely will.
Right, with the contract,
right.
All right, so any interest from the Cowboys?
Stephen Jones said on the pregame show that they were going to look at film today of him and check it out, see how he was playing this year.
If that's
do your due diligence. You know the player. You've got 2 starting safeties that I think overall that they feel good about. And Kayvon Frazier is kind of your special teams guy and backup safety. So
how do you feel about Thompson?
That's the one. I mean,
is Thompson good enough to where you kind of sit in a situation where you say, was Thompson kind of a young enough guy that you might want to keep around for next year? Like Barry Church might be a guy that you just you're kind of taking him for the run. Unless you can sign Barry Church back, for a veteran minimum kind of a thing.
Yeah.
But I
would think that's what it would be right now.
Yeah, no, it absolutely would be. I'm just talking about
for next year.
Yeah,
right.
Next year. Do you bring Barry Church in and let him compete? I'm interested to see what they get from their film. Like I say, I've got the opportunity. I've got just one more thing I have to look at for the Cowboys this morning. I'm going to take a peek at Barry Church myself. But I did talk to some guys at Jacksonville that were telling me, though, that we're a bad team. Barry had some bad games, got blamed for a couple of things, and when you're a bad team, they're looking for reasons to kind of move on from guys. Not that Barry's a bad guy, but they weren't gonna. They were gonna. this guy told me, he said, hey, the amount of money that he makes, he most likely was not going to be back next year. And so that's kind of why they moved on from him as well.
I mean, even if they picked him up, what's he going to be? You got a backup safety and a special teams player. And
Right.
at his age, does he really want to play special teams? He might because he's out of a job.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's his role. He's
That
not
would be his
stepping
role.
into the starting lineup.
Yeah, Barry might be one of those guys that you get him, and next thing you know, he's energizing your team with with like he brings that does. He's the one guy that I always thought where when Sean Lee went down, and that's why I was always kind of arguing with you, Mickey, about Earl Thomas, because I was always wanting somebody when Sean Lee went down that would kind of hold the team together defensively. Make people accountable. Barry Church always seemed to me to be a guy that would hold people accountable. Maybe they're looking for that type of guy. That's why they're doing their due diligence here. Maybe they're looking for another guy that could come in, play some downs, play on special teams, be a part of a team that's trying to playoff push.
I mean, obviously this is something if the Cowboys weren't in a playoff push,
Right.
then they wouldn't be
There was
interested at all.
Yeah, exactly.
But this is the type guy that you pick up late in the season that might be able to contribute in some way in the postseason. Philadelphia did a great job of that last year. They picked up veteran guys as the season went along, and sure enough, there were points that happen once they got into the postseason where a guy actually contributes in a game. And maybe there wasn't a starting spot for him, but he's a veteran guy that you can count on in certain situations. I think it's a great idea, assuming that he's not hurt or whatever.
Well, how he's playing will be key there. But Barry Church went to the AFC Championship game last year.
That's right.
As a starter.
So if you're talking about a guy that has that experience that people could kind of lean on, when they get in here and it gets a little tough, and okay, hey, we got to stop Russell Wilson today. We got to pull this thing together. And so hopefully, I'd like to see him get an opportunity. I'm kind of interested though too on when they're starting to get Tavon Austin back and some of these guys, how they're going to play their inactives.
Yeah,
that's where I'm.
I mean, can he dress if he's here?
Yeah, let's watch what Cole Beasley. God, we all love Cole Beasley, but the punt return stuff has been nothing. I mean, not that they made him punt a ton yesterday. What, one time maybe?
One.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this: What if look at your depth at safety? What if you lost one of your starting safeties to an injury going into the playoffs?
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
no question.
So,
that's why you
there's familiarity with Barry.
That's why you signed Barry Church.
Absolutely.
Assuming again that he checks out as far as the way he's playing.
Yeah.
But
he had
you've gone all season without really any injury issues back there. And knock on wood.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's why you need that insurance back there because. Kayvon Frazier can fill in, whatever,
sure.
But these are
it's like Suafilo filling in,
right?
See, and I think from his standpoint, if you were just bringing in an outsider at this point, I think your guys would say, "What are you doing? We got here this far with the guys we got."
This organization knows the makeup of the players.
But the players know Barry Church. Now, not a lot of them, because if you look at it, there's a lot of guys in their second year that are playing that don't know who Barry Church is, right? But I think there's enough that would say, okay, Church is back. We got one of our guys back.
Why do I think,
if he can play?
Yeah. Why do I think that if Barry Church got in a game that he could make a big play for you in a game?
Sure.
Because he's been in this system and this is not going to be a transition for him if they were to bring him back.
Yeah.
It's not at all.
Why not play him down around the box and stuff and let him be physical? That's where he kind of was made a living. Let him be that guy. But Mickey's right. We need to see what that film.
Yeah, they got to take a look at it.
I think there was a game that he had. It might have been Steelers or something. Somebody was telling me there was a game that he was just awful. But hey, we'll see what happens.
I mean, if you think about it, really, the only guys on defense that know him are Lee, Crawford, Lawrence, Heath.
Yeah, Marinelli.
But I meant the players
because in the second,
the rest of those guys they're babies.
Yeah,
they drafted guys to replace him and Carr. But they would.
I don't think they wanted to lose.
No, they didn't.
No,
it was a money thing.
Yeah,
it's the same thing with.
Good for him. He got paid.
Yeah,
good for him.
Hopefully, it was a lot of guaranteed money.
Yeah.
Join us every Friday.
It's a little late for that.
This holiday season for Christmas at the Star, presented by Albertsons and Tom Thumb. The most electrifying holiday show of the season includes performances from your favorite Dallas Cowboys entertainment, the lighting of the Star's 52-foot Christmas tree, special guests, and more. Don't miss the last 2 shows of 2018 this Friday and Saturday night. Admission and parking are free. Visit thestarinfrisco.com for details. Are y'all going to be out there tomorrow night?
Tomorrow night.
We got the
Tuesday night,
Concrete Cowboy.
Concrete Cowboy.
Yeah, we do.
Oh,
yes.
You lost me on that one.
Yeah, we'll be at Concrete Cowboy.
Concrete Cowboy tomorrow night at what time?
It's usually 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock. All right. Isn't it just a festive atmosphere out there? Don't you just love that blue Christmas tree?
Oh, no.
Have I told you how much I love blue lights at Christmas?
You know what?
You have, Bill.
We saw a tweet the other day where you got your lights up.
Did you see that?
Congratulations.
Congrats.
Yeah, I didn't mute you yet, but congratulations on that.
Did you actually see the
I
what
saw the
posted?
tweet. Yes. Yeah.
I heard that
It was
Witt was the special guest Friday night.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
Jason
about that.
Witten. That's
Witt.
right. Yeah.
They will get Mickey out there lighting them this week.
So when are you going to get Jason Witten on our Legend show?
That was your job.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
You're the one that bumps into him at the grocery store.
I don't see him at Central Market.
Have you lined up the Legends guest this week?
I have.
I thought you had. You want to go ahead and reveal that?
Yes, it's Mike Singletary.
Bear down Bears.
How about that?
Yeah. Loved his career with the Cowboys.
Yes.
He got the notification on his phone that it was booked, and he was like, aha!
Mickey's very excited. So we've had Mean Joe Green, and now we'll have Mike Singletary on Wednesday night at the Cowboys
We're
Club
acting like
here.
we're the Buccaneers, that we don't have any more legends. We got to get other teams' legends.
That's what I said. It doesn't have to be a former Cowboy.
Yeah,
It
why
can just
not?
be-
It's a Texas
It
legend.
says legends.
That's a
That's good.
Texas legend right there.
A very good Texas legend, because if it wasn't him, I was going to go after Tim Brown.
So, Tim Brown, you're next
Heisman
week.
Trophy winner.
That's right. Oh, yeah. I was going to suggest
Woodrow
that.
Wilson.
Yeah.
And now the general manager of one of those new football teams, the indoor team.
Is he really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yep. Speaking of one of those new football teams, the Redskins get a victory from Josh Johnson yesterday.
How does that happen?
10 days ago, he was preparing to play in the new Spring League, the Alliance of American Football for the Memphis Blaze, or whatever. What do they call it? Dennis Thurman and Singletary.
And Singletary, that's his
Yeah.
team. We'll be able to ask him about it.
Yeah, Singletary lost his quarterback to the Redskins. First win since 2011 for Josh Johnson.
Well, that doesn't mean he lost them. They don't start till January, February.
We had our game
the Redskins will keep him around?
No.
We had our game cast on checking that score.
Yeah.
They kicked the winning field goal in Washington as time expired here, the Cowboys game in Indianapolis. That's how you know it's just not your day. Nothing's going right for you.
Because obviously the Cowboys had the
you-
Redskins lost. Of
did
course,
you
the
s-
Eagles wound up winning too.
Did you happen to see the line score of that game, that both teams, both quarterbacks were the leading rusher for their teams? In that
Cody
game.
Kessler and
Cody-
Josh Johnson
were both the
How
lead.
was Cody Kessler the leading
He had
rusher?
at one point he had 6 carries for like 62 yards.
That's what you call a rock fight.
And then they had it, and then their stats were, I think at half, one of them had 49 yards passing, the other had 70.
You know it's not your day.
But trust me, I've lived in those days for like 3 years.
The Eagles go to L.A. and win.
And by the way, as we set the table for the rest of this week and get over the 24-hour rule is in effect, we get over what happened in Indianapolis. How wide open are the NFC playoffs when you see that the Eagles go to L.A. and beat the Rams?
They could be the 6th seed, right?
And beat the
they
pulp out of them.
Maybe they could be the if you don't find a way to win one of these next 2 games.
But
you don't want to think about that.
But it's wide open
Yeah, it is.
in the playoffs in the NFC.
It is. It is.
I mean, so
Minnesota's kind of struggling right now. Philadelphia, great win by them. That's kind of like a Cowboys against the Saints win right
and
there.
we'll see what the Saints do tonight against Carolina.
Well, Carolina usually plays them pretty well too.
Did you watch that game last night? Oh, you were.
I watched bits and pieces.
Did you see the one where the guy basically jumped off sides and then they picked up the flag and the official says the defensive player wasn't in the neutral.
Yeah, I did see that. And his
then
foot
they showed
was
the
clearly
replay and the ball,
in the
his
neutral
foot
zone.
almost hit the ball.
But you're right about it, White. That's why, like Zeke said, you take your medicine. You got blown out, and everything's still in front of you.
Yep.
Just put it behind you.
Yep.
maybe it's a lesson.
Absolutely.
Now you want to take care of business Sunday against Tampa Bay.
The
you
NFL
don't want this coming down to the last week of the season.
Just remember this: the NFL helps those who help themselves.
And on that thought, we will talk at you
Go
again
help others,
tomorrow
please.
on Talking Cowboys.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!